in this village. That's the barn they did. But by about 1820, 30, they started to build a new barn. We don't have a name for this one either. I would call it New England barn. It isn't just built in New England, but anyway, the door is in the gable end. These are bigger barns too. They're reading literature. The Germans are building these big bank barns in Pennsylvania. Your agricultural population is as literate as any agricultural population in the world. You know, they're not farmers kind of whittling, hanging out, corncob pipes and all that. You know, they're reading agricultural journals and things like that, and they know and they changed their barns, and they did this kind of change. Reason for the change is lots of reasons. It's a bigger barn, but one of the things I could do with this kind of barn in the center is to make bays out the back and make it expand. Easy to expand, this kind of thing. The New England barn is harder to expand because then you have to have multiple doors. In Massachusetts, where they have many more of these barns, you'll see the double door arrangements. But anyway, they changed it. So why they did, we can argue a little bit about why, but I think this is the efficiency of expansion is one of the major ways that why they chose it. So this happened, this change happened. Here's the English barn. You see the door on the side? So here's the English barn. But it's between the house, and you can't really see it. Here's a big barn here, but there's a big door over here, you can't see it. But anyway, there's a big barn over here. This barn used to be in the field, just right here, that field, just, about 30, 40 yards away over here. They dragged it into line. The kitchen, you can't see it over there, and connected farm. Often in New England and New Hampshire, you'll see a shape like this, and that's the oldest barn sometimes, dragged into line. Or disassembled, just chopped up, and made into the connection between those. So anyway, sometimes you'll see the early English barn. You've got a couple examples I just saw, where that is probably what's happening. The oldest barn as a connected piece in the barn. Barns are cool because they tell us about the New Hampshire barn. In Iowa, they go from, in 1850, they established hogs and corn. They got corn barns and hog barns and things like that. Today, they got corn barns and hog barns. They got the same production, same stuff. Yankees could not do that. They had to change. And the barn, when you start to interpret what happens in the barn, the different crops they had, the sheep and the pigs and the cows, they don't do that in other places, but they do that here. That's what's going on. So we can understand that production by reading barns, interpreting barns. It's hard interpretation, but you can do that. Okay, but just sometimes barns are cool because they tell us something and all. And my architectural students are very alert to symmetry. Look at this and say, well, something's wrong here, Professor Arkin. Yes, there probably is something wrong here. Probably a drunken barn builder got right? Oh boy, spiritus liquors is what this older kind of a phrase for that act of raising and all that. And of course, some of you maybe not trained this way, but look at this, the center of the barn. There's the center. Just as God intended, this is the way it should happen. If you have to ask a small child to draw a picture of the barn, that's what you get, because they understand centering and great gable, and as you do too. Drunken barners? No. Okay, fine. When you see this kind of thing, and I didn't see any, but I haven't seen a whole lot of barns, but they're out there. This means that this is an early version of a barn with a door in the gable end. When your early version, so when I look at one like this, I know it's about 1825 or something like that, and I could guess that because it's not, it wouldn't be later than that, because early barns of this new style made a bay to one side very short and a bay to the other side very long. Cows to the short side, hay to the right side. Also, when you see little windows like this and the south side, this is the side where you put the cattle on. The animal side on the south side. So anyway, early barns of this type and put the door offset, but by the Civil War and after that, the standardization of building construction all over, the stud construction system the barns start to become more standardized in their measurements in the building and things like that. And we can prove that very easily. You get barns like this. Now, if you know the answer right here, just don't yell it out over here. I look at my students and say, what happened to this place, And they, as you know, my students don't know farm and all that, and so I play with them a little bit, and I say, it became a motel. The guys, what kind of motel? Motel for chickens. Okay, so some of you who know this, if you're locals and all that, you know that when you see a building that has multiple windows like that, USDA in 1920s, and convert your barns with windows, from old houses or whatever that, and grow more chickens. Okay, and so you have your chicken phase here, the Christies and
Nichols.
The Nichols. Okay, are you great egg-producing people? Really, 30s to the 50s, 60s, or something like that. Anyway, in different areas of New England, you get different egg-producing areas. Some early, some are late. This is an example of New Hampshire farmers attempting to establish a single cash crop. Now, the guys in Arkansas beat you guys in eggs, by about the 50s and 60s and all that. Once again, you couldn't go to a cash crop, a dominant cash crop, and then you for diversification. But anyway, milk is out there for most farmers.
Why the long wrinkle over the door there, whatever you call that?
This is the door is sliding. So I think this is it's sliding to one. So this is a door slid here. They may have taken those doors off. It looks like the doors have been taken off. Thank you for asking over there. Most doors aren't put on the outside like this because you get freezing and you get the snow on the outside. The problem with putting the door on the inside, which most have, is that you've got to make a special post construction to let that door by wherever it slides, one side or the other. That's the more typical way. That's why you don't usually see this form of trolley, rail across the top of the plane. It's out there, but not so much. It freezes. When snow comes, it's a lot of work to get that. Farms tell us a lot about things and all that, so I ask you, there's another exam question over here. I hope you guys are scoring good on this exam over here. So what's the name of this? Cupola. A cupola. Okay, that's the untruth button that just went off. Okay, we need an ag answer here. You gave me the Sydney book answer. You gave me the beauty answer, and I reject that. So what do we call this?
The
B word.
The halo.
Vent. Okay, vent. I can't hear, by the way. So sorry. Ventilator or vent or something like that. Why do we vent? Spontaneous combustion. Hay packed over a short period of time when it's green will bust into flames, okay? And this is what we do to vent the barn. Now, as a snotty architect, I understand that there are a lot of ways to vent a barn that are a little more economical. I can vent it over here, and I got little guys on the roof or something like that. This weighs about 2,000 or 3,000 pounds up there. You know what that puts on a structure? I mean, and it isn't so efficient in terms of venting. But, darn, it looks good. This is in the Gothic style. And I want to emphasize something here. It's not too often emphasized because farmers are pragmatic and functional and all that sort of thing. But they understand beauty. And so it's got to be functional. You don't have art for art's sake on a farm. You don't just make a piece of sculpture. It's got to be work. Women get together, they're talking and all that, but they work and they make a quilt. Okay? And so it makes you warm and it's beautiful. Okay, so this prevents spontaneous combustion of hay, and it's good taste.
It won't get covered with snow.
I know I can make little guys. Put architectural detail on it. Yeah. Okay, fine. This farmer, when they put that on the roof, they've modernized. And they've modernized, and his compatriots know, the guys down in the hollow, who may not. The barn may burst into flame or something like that. He's modernizing, and he's put the shape of modernization on that. Just to be a kind of wise guy here, I note that as an architectural historian, both of these occur at about the same time. Okay? What do you guys call this?
Widow's walk.
Well, not widow's walk. Looking out to sea, the captain. Oh, come on. That's just interesting. The stuff we tell each other in mystery novels and things like that. Okay, I've been in about 50 of these. Okay, you don't go up there ever. Okay, there's flies and it's hot. Okay, but it's
Halloween decorations.
Halloween decorations. Okay, it's a piece of architectural beauty of the Italianate, and by putting it up there, we are in the gentry over here in Gloucester, Gloucester. Okay, so both of these occur at the same time, but this is for function, and these are farmers. There is an environmental reason that's important for the Connected Farm Organization, and in New England, short growing season, this becomes important. Okay, this is the typical organization. Typical meaning there's hundreds of variations of individual farm, one side or the other and all that, but generally, a line of buildings protects against the northern winds, and much more important, protects a dooryard. When you say dooryard, an older English term, the door of the kitchen.